Here's a video that I know a lot of people have been asking for. Kuba, what are your 10 favorite recommendations from the Dua lineup? Now, this is a very difficult video to put together since I have hundreds of Dua fragrances. Now, what I wanted to do with this video is not necessarily like the hypiest or whatever. I wanted to do more so the fragrances that really caught my attention upon like first sniff, that gave me kind of the wow factor. Like, yo, I know this is gonna be good just off that first impressions. I know that this is gonna make some sort of movement. This is that infamous visceral reaction that I look for when it comes to these fragrances. Now, these 10 fragrances took me about 2 hours to try to settle down on which ones that I wanted. And the majority of them are actually kind of the older batches. Because if we're going back to, again, this visceral reaction, that instant sniff that I was like, wow, that's what I wanted to put you guys onto. The 10 wow, instant bangers that I knew I was gonna like these fragrances no matter what from the Dua brand, and hopefully they're still available. Let's roll my motherfucking music so I can put you on to 10 Dua fragrances that wowed me upon first sniff. Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. So I'm gonna jump right into the list. I'm gonna give you if they're interpretations, clones, or whatever, or their original blends. I think there's just one original and there's a couple of hybrids and there's a couple of clones in here because they all have their own characteristic and their own vibe that I feel you guys would appreciate. So the first one is an original creation. Now this is the OG bottle. I think this is maybe the second bottle that I've had from the OG lineup. And I found this to be such an unusually captivating fragrance. The scent profile itself kind of opened the door to say like, yo, these dudes do clones. That's what they're known for. That's what they're good at. At that time when this particular fragrance came out, originals wasn't something that Dua was really rocking with. Nor did I think they have the capability to pull off originals, at least good ones, until I smelled this one. And this one till this day is still up there with one of my favorite from the entire house, based on my personal taste. I think people would receive it good as well, and that's Dua's Royal Elixir. See, this is the old school presentations, right? And it actually has the entire note breakdown on the back, which I'll read out to you guys personally. Second or third variant, and I do have one of the newer variants in the large collection. So this one consists of smoky pineapple, grapefruit, clary sage, cardamom, coriander seeds, frozen violet leaves, fruity accord, pomerose, nutmeg, cinnamon, precious woods, patchouli, tonka bean, and suede. I mean, even the notes sound fire, but in this joint, it's really this beautifully sweet, slightly creamy, airy. That frozen accord, that little frozen word really sticks out with this particular scent profile. It has this cooling slight sensation, not minty, just this cool, breezy, creamy sweetness that is absolutely beautiful. I really love this fragrance. I remember they vaulted this shit for a while and then he brought it back out. I don't know if it's because I was stalking him to bring this shit back out because it was such a good one. And I'm like, dude, you put together this really nice original blend, right? Like, what the fuck are you doing vaulting this shit? It's a really nice scent profile and this should be like in a bigger bottle. I've always thought that about this particular fragrance, and Royal Elixir is one of these joints that I'm like, y'all can pull some shit out your ass. You don't just gotta copy everybody else's shit. And for me, this was kind of like the gateway drug to see how interesting they can get when it comes to the original blend. So Royal Elixir would definitely be one that I would recommend you guys to try. This shit just slaps. Next one. I mentioned this in a previous video, but as a fan of Tom Ford's Plum Japonaise, Plumlicious was absolutely one that knocked me off my socks the first time that I smelled it. Such a beautiful interpretation of Tom Ford's Plum Japonaise that I still to this day think this is one of the ultimate joints in their lineup as well. Such a bright, juicy, ripe plum that just sparks my interest beyond belief. Like my pussy gets wet when I smell this shit. The gorgeously sweet amber, that ripe plum, that just right amount of vanillic vibes. And then you throw in a little bit of a cinnamon. This shit is amazing. I love, love, love this scent by Dua. I think they knocked it out of the park with this interpretation, and it's just a fucking blast to wear. Keep in mind, I have like doubles and triplicates of these shit, so and I think you would find this to be an absolute blast to wear Or if you're looking to get into the plum fragrances and have heard about plum Japanese but don't want to spend that bank, absolutely great option by the House of Dua. Next one. One of the most complimented in this lineup when I've worn clones, and it goes back to that one time in the grocery store where the cashier was kind of just doing this type shit, and it was like, yo, is it you who smells like that? And I was like, yeah, maybe.
Smells like Bigfoot's dick.
And she was like, it smells amazing, whatever it is. And it was Matrix. But not this Matrix, this old school Matrix. Matrix is a clone of Xerjoff Neo. This is what spawned my interest to obtain a full bottle of the actual Xerjoff Neo to see if this shit gets me compliments, then that's absolutely gotta get me compliments, and that one has absolutely gotten me compliments. One of the best freshies and amazing performers in the hot weather in the space. Now, to some people, it may not make sense. You bought the clone, why buy the original? The purpose of you buying the clone is to save money to not get the original. Me, I'm a content creator. This is part of my business, so I'm gonna get both. Even if I wasn't a content creator, I think I'd always be a content creator. I'm still the type of dude that if the clone smells good, I want to get the original too. Why the fuck not? I'm a sucker for that type of shit. If I lose this or I want to take this on a trip and I don't want to bring the full bottle or whatever, I don't gotta feel any type of way because I have an alternative to scratch the itch. Bright, white, vibrant, citrus, beautiful, amazing sillage, beautiful performance on this scent profile. There's a little bit of that petitgrain neroli-ish kind of vibe that I'm not the biggest fan of, but somehow, some way it works amazingly off my skin off the summertime. So Matrix is definitely one of the bangers in the Dua lineup that I love, and you should definitely try. Next one. I had to throw a little Black Widow in this space, like Black Phantom clone. Why would you not throw the mysterious Phantom of the Opera of fragrances in the mix? Again, another amazing interpretation of Kilian's Black Phantom, and this might be one of the best ones that I've ever encountered. I don't know if anybody makes another one. Rich, dark, sexy, mysterious, deep, chocolatey, coffee-ish, just these elements of that booze and that nuttiness. Man, it's just an incredible overall interpretation of Black Phantom. Black Phantom being an amazing scent profile for me. So I think if you want to scratch that itch with an affordable version, Black Widow from Dua is absolutely a must-have in your collection. Next one. This one was one of the most interesting scent profiles I'd ever smelled at that time. It was an interpretation of Andy Warhol's from Bond Number 9. That, what is it, the silver bottle with his face on it, which is another plum-ish fragrance. But man, Iconic from Dua is insane. Andy Warhol Bond Number 9, you're gonna pay a premium for that bottle if you find it. Over $300+. It's already discontinued. It's very difficult to find. You might be able to find it on the eBays, but you're gonna pay top dollar on it. This is another cypress and plum scent profile that's bright yet dense, dark yet lively, sexy, date night, close encounter, completely unique from its counterparts. And again, it's hard to get that original, especially at a good price. So you can still get an alternative, which also keeping in mind, few alternatives out there that will have the performance that this scent profile does. Look at just the consistency and the darkness of this particular juice. It's fucking nuts, bro. That Andy Warhol, I'm not a huge fan of the House of Bond Number 9 personally. There are some hits in the lineup, but some of them just feel a little bit too designer-ish with a high price tag for my personal taste. But the Warhol joint, that shit was lit. I don't personally have that. I will have it one day. I will pay the top dollar because I'm a content creator. That's what I do. Just to have that collector's type item. But the scent profile, this is like bottle number 2 or 3 in the Iconic line. Who fucking knows? It's tons. This one, along with the next one I'm gonna talk about, were one of the first ones that I smelled that I was like, what is this? It was an experience to my nose. It shocked my whole nervous system. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. What? I was like having a mini stroke. So another incredible plum fragrance interpretation by the House of Dua. Iconic is one, I mean, bro, plum, you gotta try this one. Next one. There has been no fragrance I personally had never experienced a fragrance at the time that I got this scent that I've ever smelled a photorealistic type mango ripe peel. Like if you bit the tip off a mango and you started eating it and squeezing it and sucking it like a nipple, how some of us in the Caribbean do, just start squeezing the shit and just sucking it and then peeling it off with your teeth and you start eating the pulp off that shit. This gave me that 10,000%. Like, it just shocked my central nervous system, and that's Desire 2 by Dua. Now, this is a clone of Cruz del Sol 2 by Xerjoff. Mango ripeness is what you're getting from this fragrance, but after that mango ripeness hits, there is this dry, fruity, vetiver vibe that comes off of this shit with a cornucopia of other fucking fruits in this joint that make it lively, just deep too. Like, how do you have such a fruity concoction of a scent profile yet still manage to pull out so much dark personality out of this scent to shock somebody's system the way this joint did? It still has that. I'll read you guys the notes so you guys can get an idea of what this shit is working with. If you've ever smelled the original Cruz del Sol, which I've only smelled the sample, best believe that going through this journey makes me want to pick up a full bottle of this joint, because it's gotta be better or equivalent to this scent profile. I love the body of that particular scent. So the notes are listed as ripe mango flesh, facts 10,000%, pineapple, apple blossom, tropical guava, violet leaf, exotic floral bouquet, blackcurrant, vetiver, dried fruit, musk 100%, and cedarwood. This is a stellar piece by the House of Dua, and you will not have any basic bitches scent profile on your body. You will completely just shut down everyone around you, especially in the hot weather, with this dense yet beautifully ripe tropical fruit type vibe that is musky and powerful. Very good from the house. Next one. Now, another Xerjoff interpretation, the Conqueror of UAE, which is essentially the UAE exclusive by Xerjoff. Just give me a second. Rich, complex, green, brightly green apple and basil, a deep musk, sweet amber with this powdery, sugary vanilla. Going through this process, and it was a process, let me tell you, a couple of hours of going through these shits to give you guys like the right fucking list of recommendations based on my taste and how they made me feel. Really opened my eyes to like, yo, I need the originals of these. I'm gonna be spending some paper just to get them in my arsenal, and I want to do side-by-side comparisons to see like, can they match up? And if not, that's fine, because I got the fucking original and I got the alternative. If the alternative made you feel this type of way, imagine what the original can do for $400 plus more. Right, so we're looking at green apple, basil, Omani frankincense, leather coriander oil, Italian orris, rose, Virginian cedarwood, Madagascar vanilla, agarwood, tobacco leaf, musk, amber, and sandalwood. Who cares? Fire, performance, fall appropriate, winter definite, summer, it's got a little bit of element of a freshness, but I would cater it more to the fall and winter component, and this is just, get it. Next one. Now let's get into some fun shit. Now these two fragrances are almost the same. So one's a hybrid, one's a tribrid, but these two fragrances have the same base of two fragrances mixed with each other, which are two mass appeal beasts, one of them being one of my favorite fragrances in the space, and they are both Casino Tuxes, but one's Casino Tux Elixir and the other one is just Casino Tux. Now the common denominator in both of these is Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait de Parfum and Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo. That combination of both of these scent profiles is insane, but the difference between the Elixir one is that they threw Aventus in the mix. So think of that tribrid combination of Baccarat Rouge 540 mixed with Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo mixed with Aventus. So you have a pineapple-y sweet, cotton candy, gorgeous patchouli sex beast in a bottle for like sub $60 after any coupons. This is like international fuckboy to the 20th power, mass appeal grenade. Take all the Dior's, all the Chanel's, all the hypey of hypey, put them shits to the side. You add a tribrid of 3 grenade mass appeal fucking sex bombs in one container, and this is what you're getting out of the Elixir. But if you want to tone it down just a little bit to add a subtle element of sophistication and reduce your fuckboy energy, you would go with the Casino Tux one. This is the first one that I was like, yes, I can vibe with this shit all day, every day. It started off initially coming off a little bit Baccarat Rouge 540, but Tuxedo swooped the fuck in and started just really doing some beauty off of my skin. And I was like, yes, bitch, yes. So these two fragrances, although they have a common denominator, you guys can determine what route you want to go in. You want to go full Seaside Heights, Jersey Shore, fuckboy, spike my hair up with cement, or I want to reduce it and classify myself as a gentleman scholar that still want to get boxed. The choice is yours. And finally, this one is just pure class. I smelled this one instantly, I was like, class. And I wore this one only like a couple of times, but in going through it, again, I wanted to get first impressions, visceral reaction, ooh, I like this shit. And something about this just screamed class, and it was by the House of Fragrance Du Bois, and that's London Oud, but this would be the British Oud version by Dua. Such a beautiful spearmint scent profile that has this lively sophistication about this joint that brings you back to the gentleman class that you're looking for, some of you. See, this is pure gentlemanly energy. At all. This has this beautiful, unique scent factor that has this also calming down, aromatic fougere type vibe that is stellar. Beautiful scent profile. Again, going through a lot of fragrances. Truth be told, I didn't go through all of them. I went through, I want to say at least 100 fragrances in trying to pinpoint, and I just wanted to go from instant like, ooh, right then and there on a test strip, trying to go also going into my brain, I'm like, yo, which ones are like the greatest hits that I know that I would want to keep in my Dua collection that I gotta tell you, yo, get this shit, I'm telling you it's good. And this is what these fragrances were compiled of. So once again, it was British Oud, Tux of Casino Elixir, Casino Tux, Desire 2, The Conqueror of UAE, Iconic, Black Widow, Matrix, Plumlicious, which is what I call my balls, and Royal Elixir. I hope you Dua fanboys appreciate this shit. These aren't like the absolute best in the lineup. I'm sure that there's more that I wasn't able to go through because there are an abundant amount of fragrances, but these are absolutely 10 of my favorite, 100% fucking just beautiful scent profiles. And again, I have like doubles of some of these joints, so maybe I'll do some sort of giveaway, maybe on my Patreon. I'm gonna think about it because these are fucking bangers, man. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. I'll put links in the description. Shout out to Dua for always supporting the team. And man, I hope you guys enjoy these fragrances because man, they are pieces of work. I'll see y'all bitches next time. You know who it is, biggest in the game. Smooches.
What's fresh? Who's best? Wanna know who's gonna pass the test? For the fly gun holder, money folder, Motorola start tag when it's time to call back. For the rough, rugged, and raw way, this nigga Jay, it's a game, but he don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.